So I'm going to share with you today five things that if you understand, then building habits will be easy peasy lemon squeezy for you. You might have heard more than 100 times on social media that you need to build good habits in order to have a good life. Habits define your future, habit defines you. Like you might have heard it more than 100 times. But do you actually know how scientifically to build a habit that can last forever? Do you actually know how these habits are even formed? Yeah, habits are the things that you do daily. So you start writing a list of habits that you want to do daily and you start doing it, but after 30 days you drop off and you feel like shit again, right? Because you didn't build the habit the right way. And in this video I'm going to be explaining how habits work and how exactly you should be building this habit so it will last till forever. So, the first thing that you need to understand is how habits work, like scientifically, how habits are formed. You see, habits are formed when you see a cue, that is, you see something and it triggers you to do something. And for doing that thing, you get a reward. And this happens as a loop. This is how an habit is formed. Like, for example, brushing, let's take it, okay? Okay, when you wake up, you feel like your mouth is shit. And that's the cue. So what you do is you brush, and that is the routine. And after brushing, you get this fresh feeling. That is the reward. That is your reward for doing the routine. And that's how habit is formed. Like the next day when you wake up, you again feel like a shit, and you do this routine, and it rewards you like the fresh feeling. So this is how habits are built. You need, like, in order to build a habit, you need to make it easy. Unless and until you don't make it easy, habits won't be formed. Like for example, if you want make reading as a habit. Sorry, pardon my handwriting. My handwriting ain't that good. So, if you want to like adopt reading as a habit, then don't start with 50 pages. Don't start with 50 pages. Start with 1 page and have a cue for reading. Have a cue. Get bored. Like make yourself bored and use that as a cue to read 1 page and get the dopamine as your reward. Do that. Put away your phone for a day, feel bored, and as a result of getting bored, that is the cue, and you do the reward of reading, the routine of reading, and then you get rewarded your dopamine. Like, have a cue. Without a cue, habits can't be formed. Habits can never form without a cue. Okay, then you have the reminder habits. You can use these reminder habits as a cue. So you don't have to put away the phone. Instead, what you can do is, let's say you wake up, you brush your teeth, you meditate. Okay? Let's say that you have meditation as your habit already. And after you meditate, the meditation should act as a cue for you to go and read the book. Like, do you get what I mean? Use one habit as a cue to perform the other habit. Or let's say you don't do meditation, you wake up, you brush your teeth, and use brushing your teeth, that feeling of freshness, as a cue to read the book. Like once you feel your mouth is fresh, what you do is you go, start picking up the book, and start reading. That's all. First 2 days or like first 3 to 5 days, it will feel like you're doing it, but after 5 days, it will become automatic. You feel this freshness in your mouth, you go pick the book, you read a page, and you get rewarded the dopamine. Now that's a habit. All right. The third thing is replacing. If you want your old habits, old bad habits, if you want to get rid of any bad habit, what you can do is you cannot build a new habit, but you can replace the old habit, the bad habit that you have. For example, let's say you have scrolling as a habit. Okay, you scroll every day. You need to identify what's the cue that is making you scroll all day. What is the cue? What do you feel before scrolling? Before you pick up the phone and start to scroll, you need to identify what is the thing that is making you scroll. And instead of scrolling, you need to replace another routine. You need to replace the routine. You need to have the cue and the reward the same, but you need to replace the routine. So instead of scrolling, you replace something else in that, like picking up a notebook and writing down something, and you get the same reward, that is dopamine. So you need to identify what's the cue, what's the trigger that is making you scroll, and then replace the routine by some other good habit that you want and get the same reward. So that's replacing. And fourth one is the situation. This is serious shit because when you're put in a situation where you have no other choice but to do that thing, then you will definitely do it. For example, let's say um, there is a man who has a bad habit of smoking and he wants to quit it, but he just can't get himself to quit it. He tries, but he fails in the end. Let's say his wife gets pregnant and he's going to have a baby. Now he has no other choice but to quit the smoking. Otherwise, his wife will give a divorce. So now he has no other choice to go anywhere but to quit the smoking. So if you're put in a situation where you have no other choice but to do the thing, then habits will form automatically. And the fifth thing is dangerous. This is serious, but this is dangerous. That is, your old habits never go out of your brain. Even though you replace your habit, you build new habits. You get put into a situation where you have to leave the bad habit and do good habits. The bad habits and the old habits always stays in your mind. The cues won't go away. So you need to be careful that you don't get this cues. You don't get this cue to do the old routine. So you need to be careful. That's one thing. Your mind will like have this idea. I forgot the part of the brain where it gets saved. So there is a part in the brain where the habits get saved. And okay, if you want to know more like how these habits work and how it's built and all these stuffs I got from this book, you can go ahead and read this book. But if you don't want to read like this much of a big book, then this video is enough for you. If you understand the this video and start implementing the things, then that's enough for you. So yeah, these are the things that I wanted to convey. And I hope you remember all these things. First, you need to make it easy. Then you need to, like, if you don't want to set a new cue, then use reminder habits, like the old habits is a cue to do to perform a new habit. And if you want to replace something like a bad habit that you have, then have the same cue, same reward, but replace the routine. And fourth is the situation where you get put into a situation when you have no choice but to perform the habit. And fifth is your old habits never get erased. So that's all it. So see ya, take care, bye bye, till the next video.